Hi there, and welcome to the Plugged In Show. I'm Paul Acey. Google, so old school. With more than 400 million weekly users, Chat GPT is the cool kid on the internet block. And it's being used for everything from simple searches to generating complex business strategies. But is it making us dumber? A new study from MIT says probably. We'll toss that around with some very smart people on our team. And then we'll turn our attention to The Bad Guys 2, which is being released this weekend. The first film, The Bad Guys, was one of the most pleasant surprises of 2022. So much so that we nominated it for a Plugged In Movie Award. But does the new one follow in the same great suit? Or is The Bad Guys 2 just plain bad? Kennedy Unthank has seen the new movie and had a chance to talk with its director, Pierre Perifel. We'll let you listen into their conversation, and Kennedy will tell us all about the movie, too. It promises to be a jam-packed show, and we've got a jam-packed studio to go along with it. Joining us today are Jonathan McKee, Natalie Dean, Kennedy Unthank, and after a too-long hiatus, Kristen Smith. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, so the icebreaker today is going to be super simple. In honor of The Bad Guys 2, which of course is about all these nasty looking animals that turn out to be pretty nice, we know that all of God's creatures have their place.
Lies. They don't.
That said, what animal strikes you as clearly the most evil? Kristen, you clearly have
I will
strong...
go for, yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
I have two. Cockroaches.
Ooh.
No one knows why they're alive. And spiders.
Are they even eaten by anything?
I truly don't know, but there were so many when we lived in Hawaii that they'd crawl out of the baseboards.
Oh.
And then back into the baseboards.
Oh.
So if that tells you anything.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Probably
yeah.
crawling
Was
involved.
that the worst part about living in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cockroaches?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm
come up with
kind
something.
of partial to spiders, to be honest.
Absolutely not. That can't be true. Anyway, someone else give their opinion.
With you. Jonathan, what do you say?
I'd say my cat has got to be the most evil creature
That's good.
ever. Because I mean, like
Cats can be kind of
will-
evil, actually.
It'll catch a snake, and I'm not a big snake fan, but it won't kill it. It'll play with it for
That's
about
right.
an hour,
Uh-huh.
and just and I'm pretty sure if I was only 3 inches tall, he'd do the same with me. So yeah, I think my cat is definitely the most evil creature ever.
I like that answer. Kennedy, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I gotta say, as much as I hate spiders, at least I can understand why they're here.
They have their place in the world.
I can't understand mosquitoes.
That
Oh,
is
that's
so
fair.
fair.
That's
They're
fair.
just annoying, and as far as I'm aware, their only purpose is to spread disease. And so,
But there aren't
I-
many here, so that's good.
I am quite happy to get rid of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
There was this study that we learned about in school that they were trying to put this pheromone or something inside of the male mosquitoes so that they could no longer breed with the female mosquitoes, so that they would eventually die off. And they're talking about it like it was a bad thing. And the whole time I was reading, I was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't really see their purpose. There might be some bird out there who doesn't get quite as fed, but
You know,
right.
if you're not watching this particular episode, you wouldn't necessarily know that as soon as Kennedy said mosquitoes, we all went, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Why? I don't understand why their bites are so itchy. You know, it's one thing to suck your blood. That's bad enough, right? But
I
then,
think it's dependent on the person.
really?
Yeah. Like
well, it's like a histamine thing.
That's interesting. All right, Natalie, go for it.
We should look it up on
Snakes.
Chat GPT.
We really should. After this conversation, we'll do that.
Snakes. They're terrible animals.
Yeah.
They're biblically evil.
They're so yeah, exactly.
Biblically
Don't like
all
them.
we needed to
They're
hear.
so creepy, and I love my cat. She kills the snakes. Perfect.
Man, I like snakes too. I like spiders. I like snakes,
This guy's
mosquitoes. I can
weird.
do. I know.
Yeah.
I know. The thing that I hate, and granted,
Puppies.
we don't. Kittens. Kittens. I just hate. No, we don't have a lot of them here in Colorado. But hagfish. Have you ever heard of a hagfish?
Who picks
Never
that?
heard of that.
Like, who chooses that? There are so
Oh,
many
yeah.
Such a
The
nerdy
hagfish.
response.
What is that?
Let me tell you.
Well, it's called a
Please,
hagfish. So.
Yeah, so a hagfish is sort of like a lamprey, right? It's like a gigantic mosquito, but it has these mouths that have like circles of teeth.
Wait, so it's not a fish?
It lives in water.
What are you saying?
It's
How have
it's
you
like a
heard this?
long thing.
Me too.
I used to read a lot of nature books, right? So
Yeah,
I
obviously.
but these hagfish, they latch on to whatever is swimming by them, and then they suck all their
Oh,
blood.
so it's like a leech.
But here's the thing: it is like a leech. It is like a leech, and
Thank you, Kennedy.
sort of a lamprey is a bigger form of a leech. Hagfish is like the most extreme form of that, and they have this little. This might get a little disgusting. They have like this little bladey tongue that scrapes off part of the skin as well, and then to top it off, they're covered with slime. And so there's a reason sometimes they just tie themselves up in knots, and I don't know why.
You know too much.
I
The books.
This is too
It's
much
the
information
books.
about. Are you saying lamb with a silent B or land with a D? Because I couldn't tell.
hagfish.
No, land prey, lamb prey. What are you saying?
Lamprey. Lamprey. Have you never heard of a lamprey?
I don't even know what that means.
So it's just this,
right.
it's this long eel-like thing. We're already way off topic. So it's this long eel-like thing that swims in the water and it latches on. It is like a giant leech. It's just long and snake-like, and it just latches
Paul
onto
was the
you.
only guy that in the Little Mermaid movie was like, look, there's a red-lipped batfish. Look, a leafy sea dragon. A sugar glider.
A sugar glider.
I needed that, Paul. That was good. Thank you.
All right. And now, speaking of Chat GPT, we'll launch into our main conversation. Quite the segue. Since we first talked about it on the Plugged In show 2 years ago, Chat GPT has gone from a cool AI curiosity to an indispensable tool. It is revolutionizing the way we work and learn. But is that always a good thing? Researchers from MIT recently asked 18 to 39-year-olds and asked each of them to write several SAT essays. Some of them could use Google's search engine, the traditional search engine that we're all familiar with. Some of them could use ChatGPT, and some of them could use nothing at all. The researchers found that the users who used ChatGPT had the lowest level of brain engagement. Moreover, they got lazier as the study went along, ultimately just copying and pasting what ChatGPT came up with. Researchers worry that the younger a ChatGPT user is, the more harmful it might be to their ability to learn. So, first question out of the gate, does that surprise anybody?
Nope. Not at all.
Well, I think it's a natural conclusion, honestly.
Yeah.
Because the guy who can recall math formulas in his head is going to be smarter than the guy who uses a calculator every time. And I think it's the same principle.
Yeah. So let me ask you, is that a problem that we're leaning on ChatGPT and some of these other technology features a little bit more? Whenever we have conversations like this, I tend to think of how little we use maps today. We used to have these maps to find our way to wherever we were going. Now we just punch it into our phones and it takes us where we want to go.
Thank goodness for GPS.
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's super, super convenient.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily know if I would be able to find my way around with a map anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I really don't even know cardinal directions now, for being honest. So I find it very helpful. But my husband will be like, go west. I don't know what you're saying. Am I turning at the Starbucks or the McDonald's? You're going to have to be a little more descriptive. But as far as ChatGPT, I think it can be a really useful tool. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if you lean too much on it, it kind of reminds me of like in college, I had a few people that like wanted me to write their papers for them, right? And so like those were the kind of people that concerned me. Like, you're getting a degree, but you're not really doing the work for this, right? So I think it depends on how much you use.
Yeah.
the tool.
Yeah. You mentioned that it can be. Oh, go ahead, Jonathan.
Well, I was just going to say, and I mean, I'm sure it'll get better, but right now it's just very inaccurate all the time. And so that's one thing for sure is, and I think it's probably very helpful for teachers. My mom is a college professor, and we were talking about this last week. We were talking about, and she was saying that she and some of her friends that were, she's retired now, but friends that were colleagues, they were talking about how they're even switching how they do writing tests and stuff. She says that the sale of blue books have just skyrocketed because now English teachers are saying let's do in-class writing because clear your desks, no devices, whatever. Let's do it because that's the only way to really tell. But the thing that I think is funny is the other thing we were talking about is that so much of what people write will have these little. Also, it'll have an inaccurate reference or something, which kind of almost helps you spot the cheater because Chat GPT gets stuff wrong all the time. I just jumped on Chat GPT and said, what books has Paul Asay written? And it didn't even have your most recent book on there. I mean, it's just, and I think it had a book that you didn't write, so it's hilarious. It always will get a couple of things wrong, which is probably really good right now because right now you can kind of spot the cheater still.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? ChatGPT is only as good as the information that it gleans. And
Yes.
when you're talking about the internet, there's a lot of really imperfect, incorrect information out there that it could be pulling from.
Yeah. I mean, I use it for homeschooling, like curriculum and pulling up schedules. So I find it like really useful in that arena.
Well, let's actually riff on that a little bit because it really can be incredibly useful, right? You use it for homeschool curriculum. What does that look like?
Well, like this year so far, I've just been messing around and asking it to like basically make me a schedule. I mean, I can do this myself, right? But I would like a few different options. And so I gave it the information. It made me a couple different schedules and I got to choose. And you can like edit as you go along, obviously. So I've appreciated that. But probably the most significant feature, guys, it will give you an entire menu, a dinner menu. I detest making dinner. I wish I would have thought about this when I got married, that for the rest of my life, I will be making dinner, okay? And this thing, it makes the whole meal, like the whole schedule, like all the whole thing. It gives you all the whole recipe, everything. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I use ChatGPT a lot for a lot of brainstorming things, for a lot of planning. I was talking actually with Paul earlier about using it for meal stuff.
Yes.
Because my wife and I were like, let's eat a little healthier. So we're like, okay, but we also
can we
don't
do
like these foods. I'm also
Tomatoes.
this age, this height, this weight, so tell me exactly what foods I can eat, and it did a really good job. We've been really enjoying that.
Right.
I've also been using it, as we've mentioned in other podcasts, I've been using it to help with my writing. Not to just copy paste, but if I reach a roadblock, it's nice to go and be like, okay, what might be some natural ways for this to continue on moving? And they'll give me like 5 different ideas. I'll choose one of them and be like, oh, that's a great way to keep going.
Yeah.
And so I think it can be really helpful. I think the area where we find the issue is that there are a lot of people who they aren't passionate about it. They just want to have the work finished for them.
Right. Right.
And so every day we get a little closer to Idiocracy, the movie. But we have, I don't want my doctor only having his degree because ChatGPT helped him identify all the bones in the body,
Yeah.
To be fair, sometimes I feel like it knows more than doctors, but go ahead.
I mean, it's interesting you say that though, because, 100%, if you're fully leaning on it just to get the work done, that's not the most beneficial way to use it. But I know, a classmate of mine recommended for our media law class, the book, very technical, very long chapters to read, and the test, very hard. But ChatGPT was used by her to create a study guide.
That's so
and
good.
it actually was so effective and helpful.
Yep.
And I used it once and it really did help me
Yep.
do good on my test. But it is interesting that, like you mentioned, using it for classes and everything, because that was the downside in college is people would use it to write their discussion posts or use it to write their papers. And professors were not at all happy about it. And there were some professors that I had who would start catching it. And in response, they would have us, okay, we had open book tests, no more open book tests. Like, you guys, I'm taking this away if you won't stop using it. Naturally, some people just don't listen. But that's the downside I would find.
Well, and that's the interesting thing, too, is because not only are professors catching the people who are using it, but they're also unintentionally catching the people who are not using it. The few honest students who remain. I was watching a video where this one YouTuber was talking about, I can usually tell who in my comments is a bot because they have really good grammar. And I'm just like, of course, the journalists get punished again. You know?
Again.
I'm just because
That's actually just
I had a test in
55-year-old dad. Actually,
I had a test in college on the AP style book, and now I'm being punished for it. You know, but I mean, I've seen multiple instances of students being like, I didn't use any AI, but my professor he thinks I did. And so I failed the test even though I wrote it with my own hand. And granted, some of those kids saying that are probably lying. But I guarantee there are a lot of them who are telling the truth.
Yeah.
See, this is kind of hard because I feel like for my husband has ADHD, and I have a decent amount of friends that have the same issue. And so like when they're working through, like their brains don't function the same way that ours do. And so sometimes getting pen to paper is the most difficult. Yeah, this is the most difficult part. But a lot of times, like even in school, like these kids are dismissed because they don't function the same way. Their brains don't function the same way. So this honestly allows a lot of people, I think, to be able to get their ideas on paper and then be able to move from there, which
Right.
I think is really useful.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, it really does have its uses, right? As we sort of look toward the future of Plugged In, we're thinking about how we can incorporate AI into what we do to make it easier for our users and all that kind of
Or
stuff.
will we have jobs?
Or will we have jobs? And that's the other thing, right?
Yeah,
because,
that's true.
Because, AI, Chat GPT, it can write so well now that it doesn't feel like the skills that we bring to the party, at least in the written format, are necessarily going to be as critical as they once were.
Yeah.
So you do have those issues. When you talk about sort of this core issue, is Chat GPT making us dumber? As we talk a little bit about it, we know that it can be a really useful tool.
Yeah.
How do we keep it as a tool and not turn it into a crutch? How do we keep our brains functioning in a Chat GPT world?
I think the first thing to remember is that ChatGPT and many of the other AI that you can use are all of their information just comes from the internet. So technically, if you just go on the internet, you can find the same stuff. It'll just take longer. All ChatGPT is doing is giving it to you in a more conversational tone and giving it to you quicker. And so if you think of it more like that, and you think of it more like a search engine than this bot that'll do everything for you, I think you can start to understand how it can be a very useful tool rather than something that will just take over your life and replace all of your critical thinking skills. So to that end, my recommendation is always to, first off, actually read the source. Because I've used ChatGPT to find some sources before, because I'm like, I don't really know how to write this exactly into Google, but I can write into ChatGPT, it'll give me the wrong stuff, and I'll be like, okay, clarification, change this, and then it'll find it for me.
Yeah.
And now I can get to that source like 5 to 50 minutes faster than I would have otherwise been able to get to. But I think the important part is still checking that source and actually making sure what it's telling you is true.
Yeah.
And that way you can still learn something, and you can still make sure that what you're putting in your research paper perhaps is actually going to be factual.
I love that you say the research part, Kennedy, because funny enough, that question has been asked in most of my journalism classes, especially in my last year. And 3 things people always say that ChatGPT can be used for is to check grammar, to conduct research, and to brainstorm. And I love that you say check sources, because there is a few of my journalism classes that would mention how a newspaper would use ChatGPT to write a sports story. And it completely got it wrong, and so many things it messed up. And so it's so critical for people to learn, like, fact check your sources. Even if you're provided the information, go back and review it yourself to double check everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I go back to Kennedy's example, which I really loved, of the calculator. I think that's so
Thank
good
you.
because, you still, you still need to know how to do the math. But, if you're trying to multiply 5,687 times 363, most of us, in the room, don't know what that is right away. Thanks, Rain Man. But a calculator is a help there. But we need to kind of learn to know how to do it. My dad, when he taught my brother and I how to drive, back in the days, we had a stick shift and we had an automatic, and he goes, "You're going to learn on the stick." And we learned on the stick, and I now drive a Tesla that can drive me to work without me touching a thing. But I can get in any vehicle to this day, a truck with 3 on a tree or whatever. I can drive anything because I learned how to do it. And I think teachers, we need to teach young people today how to do things and how to use Chat GPT as a supplement. And sure, if it helps them speed up things, review things, that's great, but they need to be able to do it on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, learning to do things, ChatGPT is really good to help you do that. I was
Unpack
working on
that a little bit more.
I was working on my sprinkler system back home. And I was like, I've never worked on a sprinkler system before. So I go to ChatGPT. I'm just like, how do you fix
Yes,
this?
it does.
How do you fix this specific issue on a sprinkler
it out.
system? And so it told me, I was like, okay, I don't know where that thing is. And so I was asking, where is it? And it tells me, well, it's probably around here. I go there, it's over there. And I'm like, I don't know if this is actually it. I take a photo of the thing and I send it to ChatGPT, and it's like, yep, that's it. I'm like, great, now I can get started. I learned a whole lot. I learned a whole lot of home skills in one conversation with ChatGPT just because I was willing to put in a little more effort. And I mean, that's something you can't just copy and paste,
Yeah.
but like you can use it as a resource in order to grow too.
Yeah, yeah, I really love that. And I, as we talk here, I'm getting the sense that we don't need to panic over ChatGPT. We probably do need to talk to moms and dads about how they handle it in their homes, like how to talk with it with their kids as they start to get into some of these research things, as they start using it. How do parents sort of navigate the issue of ChatGPT?
I think ultimately, like, this is a personal choice, right? I mean, you can have these conversations, and you should, but it's going to be a personal choice on how you decide to use it. It kind of makes me think of in college, which was so long ago now. So I'm going to date myself, but even in high school, like, we'd use like Spark Notes, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
I didn't read all those books. I mean, I read a lot of them because I like to read, but the people that didn't, no, they went and got they went to Barnes and Noble and got like the little Spark
Yeah,
Notes
yeah.
and did like a quick, they like read it really fast, right? Like, this is just a different format, like a different way to use the information at your fingertips. So
Yeah.
Well, and realize too that this isn't unique to Chat GPT. This is anything AI. I personally don't even use Chat GPT. I use Copilot because I think Copilot's actually a lot more accurate. I don't know why, but I ask Copilot questions and I ask Chat GPT the same question, and I always get a more accurate answer from Copilot. I don't know if it's pulling from different sources. I don't know how it works.
We're not
Somebody's
sponsored,
gonna have to
by the way.
explain it to me. There are other, there are other AI sources out there that people
Yeah.
are using, and I think the key is the same stuff that we're always talking about on this podcast is, as parents, we need to be, in conversations with our kids about this, talking to them. The same conversation we just had around the table could be had around your dinner table, asking them what they think.
That's
Listen
great,
to their
Jonathan.
responses, hearing their hearts and hearing them say, hey, you know what? I really have trouble formulating this together, and it helps me put my thoughts together. And us being able to talk with them, like, that's great, as long as you are learning how to write this paper, so that if your teacher does say, whip out a blue book, you can do that, and having that conversation. And this sounds crazy, but, leaving our kids to just completely figure it out by themselves and figure it out late into the night with screens in their bedroom, it's just not a good idea. The other thing I think is I still go back to the no screens in the bedroom after bedtime, and that would just kind of keep out the temptation of, I'm going to write this late night paper at 11 at night by just copying. A lot of bad decisions are made at 11 at night. So if we have that rule, a lot of people will be doing their homework earlier, when you're up, when you could be talking with them, when people could walk in the room at any time. So that's just, it's amazing how some of these principles of just talking with our kids, no devices in the bedroom late at night, help with this whole process.
Yeah, that's great, Jonathan. I really totally agree. Thank you guys so much.
Hi. I am Agent Scolder. This is Agent Goalie. We're with the FBI.
Josephette Smith, was it? I understand you believe you're kidnapped by aliens. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little about that?
Yeah, okay. So I was camping just outside of Roswell. I was on top of my RV reading my copy of Becoming a Screen Savvy Family by the Plugged In team. But all of a sudden, a light shined down on me and I started floating. I passed out. Next thing I know, I'm aboard their ship.
Uh-huh. And what is it that these aliens wanted with you?
That's the strangest thing. They spoke to me, but they didn't use their mouths at all. It was like they were speaking into my mind, and I could understand them perfectly. They told me they had traveled across the galaxy because of the very book in my hand. They wanted their very own copy of Becoming a Screen Savvy Family by the Plugged In team.
The book. Really? And what value did they derive from this book?
They told me they loved watching Earthling entertainment, but they didn't have the star charts to navigate it. So they wanted to see if I'd be willing to part with it.
Well, Mr. Smith, I want to believe what you're saying is true. I want to believe. But how do we know what you're saying is actually what happened?
Well, I told them they could actually buy their own copy. All they had to do was send a gift of any amount to the Plugged In team. They could simply go to thepluggedinshow.com and look at this podcast episode's show notes to find out how. A moment later, after a little bit of probing, they had the book shipped right up to their ship. Then they returned me back down to Earth, no worse for wear, just a little bit of bruising. Even gave me a shiny new implant.
Look, Scolder, this guy's obviously crazy. I know there's value in having a guide to help families navigate rough patches in entertainment, but there's just no way aliens would come to Earth and abduct a man in a tractor beam just to buy this book.
Goalie, the truth is out there. If these aliens did buy a copy of the book, maybe we'll find some strange alien currency in Plugged In's pockets. But until then...
Hey, that's mine!
Sorry, sir. We'll have to confiscate this book for evidence. Let's put it with the rest of the files in Cabinet X.
The Bad Guys 2 is coming out August 1st, which is, if you're listening to this podcast when it's released, is tomorrow. Kennedy, you had a chance to see The Bad Guys 2. You also had a chance to talk with the director.
Yes, I did.
So we'll be listening to your conversation with the director in just a minute. But first I want to just hear from you. The Bad Guys 2, you really liked the first one. Did you like the second one as much?
I think I did. Yeah. I think in terms of the comedy and the general plot beats and the character development, I think it's all there from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
So if you enjoyed the general story of the first movie, I think you'll really naturally fall into the second one as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one area where I'd say the movie struggled a little was the general message. Not that the message was bad or anything, but the first movie was kind of built around the message, and this message being, can I be anything other than what I think I am?
Yeah.
And that kind of motivates the entirety of the plot in the first Bad
Right,
Guys
because
movie.
you're talking about these historically quote-unquote bad creatures who have been told they've been bad their whole lives.
Yeah, I mean, they're led by the big bad wolf. But the second movie, there are some nice messages in there, but I don't think the plot is as centrically based around that message.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, that message kind of shows up in a few scenes throughout the movie, but it's not as directly interwoven into the plot. And so I think it kind of struggled in that regard. In terms of just a fun, entertaining movie, I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah. Any problems that parents should be aware of?
I think the biggest one that parents will raise an eyebrow at is there's quite a few moments of kind of sensual, offhanded humor.
Interesting.
Not super intense or anything,
Right.
but you know, Snake has a girlfriend now in this one, and they are just absolutely in love. And the way they express that love is often through this very, flirtatious kind of, I think they call it puppy talk, and a couple of the things they say in those moments, which I have quoted in the review for anyone who's very intentional of wanting to see that before they actually go see the movie.
Yeah.
But I think those moments might be the biggest things that parents would be concerned about. There's also one use of the A word,
Okay.
which did feel a little out of place because it's the first time there's any swearing at all in either of the movies, and it's the only time as well.
That's interesting. Interesting choice.
I had to go and replay the scene like 3 times to be like, maybe I'm just not hearing it right. But
Yeah, well, that was an interesting choice, I suppose. But you had a chance to actually talk with the director about a lot of facets of this movie. So we'll get right to the interview of Pierre Perifel.
First things first, I just want to ask, you originally got your start here in animation, and I was just wondering how that background went into building the world in the Bad Guy series.
Oh man, thank you. That's a great question. Look, yes, to your point, I've been an animator. I've been an artist for forever, and so like just coming from drawing, from illustration, from painting, and then through animation, storyboarding, designing, I think all of that background helps me be very visual. Have a very vivid imagination and an ability maybe just to have really good idea or representation of what a cool image can be, or an image that I like can be, and just being able just to express it, explore it, communicate it to my teams or to an audience. So I think that is one side of it. The other part, and also like an idea of how can we just break the mold a little bit and just get looks and visuals and in characters that look different from what we've seen before in animation. So that's the first thing. And second of all, I think just growing up as an animator into a studio like DreamWorks allowed me to understand the pipeline, the production pipeline, and know the different teams and all the different players very intimately, which probably just give me a shorthand with my team just to be very efficient and smart in the choices we make.
Yeah, I think the Bad Guys just has such a unique and a very just lovely looking animation style. And so I just want to ask, is there any moment in the Bad Guys 2 that you are especially proud of in terms of the artistic work on it?
A lot of moments. I think if there was one to choose from, the rocket launch really combined the artistry of so many people and so many incredibly talented people at all levels. It's very complicated cinematography, very, very high technical challenge to make a sequence like this feel visceral, believing in it. It's a very tricky story challenge, so that because we're taking something that's completely absurd and making it believable. It's very technically, as I was saying, technically in terms of matte paintings, in terms of camera, in terms of animation, and very, very hard to do in terms of lighting and special effects. And so all of these challenges combined, the fact that we pulled it off and it sounds and looks as good as it does, that makes me very proud.
Yeah. Well, something I really like about the series is in the first movie, it's really grounded in that message of, does Wolf have to really be this character who everyone kind of tells him he is? So I want to ask, what's the main theme that you want families to take away from the Bad Guys 2?
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, I love the way you're summarizing the message of the first one. Does he have to be the character everybody says he is? And he's definitely in the first movie trying to rewrite his own story and just become this new character, pay his dues, comes out of jail in the second film and realizes it's very much harder than he thought it would be to reinsert society, and people still see him. They don't necessarily fear him as much, but they still see him as untrustworthy, and they don't want to trust him, and they don't want to let him in society yet. And I think he starts to doubt his choice, and I think that's the theme the theme we're exploring. Like second chances, great. Changing your life, fantastic, but don't expect it to be that easy. You kind of have doubt when you do make a change like this. It's totally human. It's totally relatable. As long as you still believe and still hope that at the end of the tunnel, at the end of that journey, you're going to become a better person. That's what matters.
Yeah, and that's such a complex theme that I think a lot of adults are really going to latch onto.
Yeah.
But how do you keep the weight of those themes while still making it accessible for a child of that family to watch and understand?
I know. Well, I mean, like by having a piranha fart, that helps. No, I'm just no, definitely. You have very funny gags, visuals, animation that helps. That's an entry point for the younger audiences into this movie. By the way, they're also beloved characters from books. They look very cute and very silly. So that's the entry point, definitely. In terms of thematics, I think kids, younger audiences are absolutely getting it because they're so smart. I mean, children are so smart when they watch these movies, and they get stuff that we as adults sometimes can miss. But I think it's really that idea of like I'm labeled as, because I did something bad, I'm labeled as bad. That happens to everybody, even to a young child. And the idea of like, should I let that define who I am? I don't have to. And that's what we're trying to say. Just don't let what other people think define who you are. I think it's an extension of the first film, and I think in a more subtle way on this one, but like a pretty radical extension. And at the end of the day, you have that payoff for them, which is kind of something that any kids could grasp.
All right. Well, Pierre, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it getting to talk with you.
Man. Totally. Take care, man.
So now that we're on episode 297 and we're almost done with episodes for the Plugged In Show, we are actually introducing a new game. We just felt like we needed one for this large table of people. Exactly. If it's really great, then, well,
if it's really bad,
exactly.
It'll encourage you to be happy that the show's ending.
And honestly, it could be really bad. I just thought of this yesterday. So the idea here is pitch meeting. So you get a title for a movie, and it's a famous movie, but one letter has been changed. Don't give me that look,
This
Kristen.
stresses me
This
out
is
more
gonna
than
be
the
great.
podcast.
It's going to be great.
The game should be
Kristen
stressful.
can use Chat GPT.
Thank you. All right, what?
One letter has been changed within the title, right?
Okay.
You have 30 seconds to tell me. I'm going to be the producer of a huge movie studio, right? You have to pitch me the name of your movie, right? And why it needs to be made into a movie. So you have 30 seconds to convince me that it is a movie worth making.
Do you want me to be the producer?
No, I don't. I don't. I want you to suffer. So we're going to pass these around just for time constraints. So you can pick one at random. Don't be looking at them.
What?
Who's going to pick mine?
You can look at them, but you can't.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'll pick yours, Jonathan.
Okay, cool.
I can look at it?
You can look at it. You just couldn't look at it to pick it. Like you couldn't say, oh, this is not good. I don't want this.
Okay.
Great.
Shouldn't give me choices then.
All right.
Okay. Jonathan,
I'm ready to go.
are you really?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so
hate
Read
this
mine so I
game.
could think. Read mine
Jonathan,
so I can think.
you've got Spider Jan.
Okay, cool.
Okay?
She's so
Okay.
confident.
Kennedy, we're going to start with you. Go.
So this movie is called Paws. It is about a puppy in a house that none of the people in the house know that the puppy's there. But every time they come home, every so often it's just lurking around in the back, and it comes up and runs and nibbles on their ankles. And so it becomes a huge problem that the town has to figure out how to fix because they can't catch this dog that is in this house, but they're really trying to work it out before. So I think they're going to need, like, I don't know, maybe a bigger dog catcher leash.
Very nice.
Is Jonathan going to go last?
Jonathan is going to go last.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jonathan,
yeah.
you're so good at this stuff.
Natalie, you ready?
I am. So the movie is called The Lion Ding. So it is about two doorbells that go against each other. One fighting to be the king of all the doorbells, and the other one, he's not too happy. The other one's in charge, so he wants to defeat him. He wants to destroy this doorbell. It's a big battle across all the land. A bunch of doorbells. They fight. Which doorbell will be the loudest? Only time will tell.
That was good. The pauses were crucial, too.
Yeah.
They really were.
Yeah.
It's this
Good.
big fight.
Suspense.
Across all the land.
Oh, well,
No lions.
Oh, no. It's doorbells.
It took me 297 episodes to be okay with the games we've already done. I despise that you've come up with a new one. All right.
All right, your turn,
awesome.
Kristen.
Are you ready?
This will be great. You'll love it.
Go.
Okay, my movie's called Top Hun. Okay. This is about a husband who's kind of fed up, right? With his wife, obviously. But she's his hun, right? She's at the top. And so she's also a secret agent. This is actually her name. And the movie is almost like one of those indie movies that,
Okay.
right? Because it's the only way that this would make sense.
Yeah.
And he like loves her, but doesn't know what to do with her. But she's also a secret agent. And so she's trying to kill him. This kind of sounds similar to something you've heard, right? It has to be an indie movie. It's the only way it makes sense.
Wow. I was
really
expecting.
Thought, I thought she was gonna go like Genghis Khan or
I
something.
thought about it. I thought about it.
Exactly.
Let Jonathan
right.
go. Let him redeem all of us.
All right,
no,
Jonathan.
no.
Spider Jan.
3, 2,
Okay.
1, go.
This is the story of a lovely middle child named Jan, right between Marcia and Cindy, but she works in a laboratory and is bitten by a radioactive spider. And before she knows it, she gets these secret powers, which she comes back and yields right there in her house, doing household chores like raking leaves, cleaning up, whatever she does to use those spider powers, saving her housekeeper Alice. And it's amazing to see Spider Jan. So.
The raking leaves comes back like once every
Raking
50
leaves.
episodes.
The raking leaves. Yes, if you don't know about Spider-Man and raking leaves, just go listen to previous podcasts.
That's a good
It'll come
pop
up.
quiz. What episode was that? Like episode 20?
It was so early. So early.
All right, Paul, are you ready?
Oh, do I have to do it? I'm the
know,
studio
yeah.
exec. I
You
get
pitch
to
us.
choose.
Yes.
I think you do. You don't get to choose. You have to do it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Are you,
This is the one you get. I hope it's painful.
All right.
Make
All right.
it a good 30 seconds.
Okay, here we go. My movie is Man of Peel, and it's clearly about someone who he was sent from another planet. He really loves to peel apples. He thinks that they are the most fantastic thing, and he needs to make like his outfit out of apple peel. So he needs to like peel them all off and make them super strong so that they'll be, sturdy for intergalactic flight.
As one would.
And not
This is a really boring movie.
I reject this idea.
The whole movie. No conflict.
I will not make this film. Bad pitch.
Calm down.
okay. All right. So the winner is you know what? I do have to give it to Jonathan. I hate to do it, but Spider Jan.
I would watch Pause.
I don't know about the doorbell thing. That was.
It sounds like Brave Little Toaster.
Thank you. I saw that in my head working, but it's
Brave
fine.
little doorbell.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Oh, thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate you all joining us. And thank you so much for listening to us, all of you out there, and watching us. And thank you so much for those who have sent some super nice comments about the Plugged In show. Wanted to just read a couple of them for you. John wrote, "Oh, I'm so sad." Speaking about the end of the Plugged In show, I look forward to the Thursday episode of Plugged In each week. Your conversations are so funny and thoughtful. I'll miss the podcast, but I'm so grateful that the website is continuing. Plugged In has always been my go-to for all movie and TV reviews. Thanks, y'all. And then we got this from Garrett. Thanks for putting out quality content over these almost 300 episodes. I look forward to your show every week, and it was a comforting accompaniment to me on long drives and walks. I will really miss tuning in to hear your reflections on entertainment and pop culture from a Christ-centered perspective. Thanks for all you've done with the podcast over these years. Some have asked if we will continue to have these conversations, and the answer is yes. Once the Plugged In show is gone from here, we will migrate some of these conversations into the YouTube space. So we really want to connect with you in the way that we have always connected with you. Have good conversations about movies, about technology, and hopefully in the course of our conversations, maybe make you laugh a little bit. In the meantime, we would love to hear more from from you, so please write in. Let us know on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, your thoughts about the Plugged In Show on this particular episode. Tell us about your favorite moments that you've heard at the Plugged In Show. If you remember about Spider-Man mowing the lawn, raking leaves, go ahead and let us know what that episode was. Be sure to email us at team@thepluggedinshow.com as well. You can even leave a voice message on the Plugged In Show homepage. And be sure to join us next week when our very own Kristen Smith takes over the show. Be very, very afraid. And we talk about the best Bible-based entertainment for kids. That's next time on the Plugged In Show.